Hello, it's old Doc Palmer, your grumpy old middle school science teacher. One of the things I did in my classes is I had what were called Science Friday questions. When I was teaching lessons, very often the students would ask me some really good questions and get me off task. I called it chasing rabbits, and I loved chasing rabbits. In order to control how far we chase those rabbits, I developed a technique called Science Friday questions. Early in my teaching career, I had a box, and students could simply write a question on a piece of paper, stick it in the box. And on Fridays, if we'd had a good week and we'd covered what we needed to cover, we would open that box and I would go through and answer those questions to the best of my abilities. Turned out my students loved Science Friday questions. They would beg for us to do it, and it became a way to control behavior in my class. If we were acting up, didn't finish our lessons for the week, we didn't have time. At the end of my career, when I went back into the classroom, of course, technology had come along. And so I had a Google form that students could log into. They had the web address they could log into anytime they wanted to and put in a Science Friday question. And what it allowed me to do as a teacher is when we were chasing rabbits, I could say, well, I'll answer one more question. And after that, if you still have a question, you need to put in a Science Friday question. So as part of this channel, I'm going to start Science Friday questions. I'm going to have a link below where you can go to a Google form and you can enter a Science Friday question on any topic related to science. I will do my best once a week to pick one or two questions and answer them for you. To start this off, I'm actually going to be using some questions that my students a couple of years ago came up with, and I kept the spreadsheet of them. And so we're going to deal with a few Science Friday questions so you can see what it's like. All right, one I picked for today, my monitor's over there, so I'll be looking over there, is what are the things smaller than atoms? And I'm sure this question came up when we were learning about atoms, because at the 6th grade level, which is what I was teaching at the time, we really didn't go into what things smaller than atoms are. Now, I have not yet posted my video on the atomic nature of matter. That's going to be my video for next Friday, the second week of January 2026. So I'm going to go ahead and give a little sneak peek. We will talk about the fact that all atoms are made up of three things: electrons, protons, and neutrons. And one of the best models I've seen for helping people understand the structure of an atom is from the old television show called WKRP in Cincinnati. And if I can find a link to that video, I know it's available somewhere on YouTube, I will post it below and you can go and watch as one of the characters by the name of Venus Flytrap has to explain the nature of an atom to a kid thinking about dropping out of high school. And he does it by telling a fantastic story. And if you watch his story, you'll never get it wrong. Electrons exist on the outer part of the atom. Surface is not a good word. Protons and neutrons are the other two parts. They exist in the nucleus of the atom. But while for 6th grade and most through middle school, we kind of stopped the explanation there, there are smaller parts that make up protons and neutrons. An electron is kind of a fundamental part. We're not going to really get into the family of subatomic parts, but an electron is one of them. And another set of subatomic parts are called quarks. And they have weird names: up, down, top, bottom, strange. And the last one's just slipped my mind. But in normal matter, the matter we interact with every day, we have two quarks, the up quark and the down quark. So the subatomic particles that are in the nucleus are the proton and the neutron. What I find fascinating is that the proton is made up of smaller parts called quarks, and the proton is made of two up quarks, one down quark. The neutron is made of two down quarks and one up quark. Here's what's fascinating. Up quarks have an electrical charge of 2/3. So the proton has 2 up quarks, 2/3 plus 2/3 is 4/3, and 1 down quark that has a minus 1/3 charge. So the 4/3 minus the 1/3 gives you 3/3, and back when I was doing math, 3/3 is equal to 1. So a proton has an electrical charge of 1. Neutrons are made up of 2 downs and 1 up. Each down quark has a negative 1/3, so negative 1/3 plus negative 1/3 is negative 2/3. The up quark has an electrical charge of 2/3. Negative 2/3 plus 2/3 gives you a charge of 0. So while protons and neutrons are made of essentially the same things, just in different quantities, one of them has a positive charge of 1, the other has no charge at all. So in our video that we'll release with this video, we talked about the nature of atoms and the fact that all the matter we interact with, what we refer to as normal matter, and you physics people just back off, we'll talk about all the other kinds of matter before we're through this, but normal matter is made of atoms, and the only things in those atoms are protons, neutrons, and electrons. And when we go below that level, the fundamental particles are electrons and quarks, 2 different quarks, up quark and down quark. So everything in our universe, me, you, dogs, cats, houses, trees, air, all the matter, the normal matter that we interact with, is made of 2 kinds of quarks and an electron. And I find that fascinating. All right, I'll see you next Friday on Science Friday Questions.